It is mostly children, not yet aware that we ignore those who are different, who suddenly remember that they could use a new pencil, or a ballpoint pen, or something else which Leo has to sell.
What do you want, Mom?
Jean, Mrs. Hill just called, and she said that you told Martha that she was to bring part of the refreshments for the party.
Well, sure. All of the kids are supposed to bring something.
Jean, I just can't understand you. Why do you always put off everything till the last minute?
For some reason that Barbara couldn't understand, she never had many friends. Perhaps it would be different for Barbara now, a new town and a new house. Barbara hoped that she would find some new friends. This is too good to be true. A girl, just her age, too. Now Barbara tried to make friends. She was not one bit shy about walking right up to introduce herself. Her neighbor's name was Jane, and she, too, was glad to have a friend that lived right next door. Of course, Barbara's mother was happy to see that she was making friends right away. She wanted Barbara to feel at home here. But after a while, with so much to be done, well, Barbara was old enough to do her share. There would be time for play later.
Barbara?
In a minute.
Barbara!
Oh, I'm coming.
Now, maybe we can see, even if Barbara can't, the reason why she has never been popular with others. Bad manners. Yes, Barbara was rude to her mother. A few days later, Jane did a very thoughtful thing for her new neighbor. She asked Barbara to go with her to a downtown movie. They would ride the bus all by themselves. But something happened at the bus stop. Barbara pushed past those two ladies without even an apology. Didn't she know better? Jane asked herself. Does she act that way all the time? Jane was surprised at Barbara's bad manners, but no one likes to find fault with others, so Jane tried to excuse Barbara since she was new and excited. But it wouldn't work. Other passengers were annoyed. She was too noisy, too loud, and Jane was embarrassed. Especially when the bus driver frowned at both of them. He had always been so friendly to Jane, and she didn't like the feeling that he held her partly to blame for Barbara's bad manners. Jane no longer merely wondered about Barbara, now she knew. Later, in the theater, Barbara was even worse. Running in the aisles is disturbing and dangerous. Jane had another bad surprise. Her guest kept talking all through the picture, ruining it for Jane. And other people, too. Too bad, Jane. It's hardly fair when you try to be nice, and a girl with bad manners spoils it. After the show, it was always a treat to stop for a soda before going home. Today with Barbara, it was a different story. It hadn't taken very long to lose a friend. Just one afternoon of bad manners. The next time Barbara wanted to play with Jane, something seemed to be wrong. Jane was polite and listened to Barbara, but she didn't seem friendly, and she wouldn't come out to play. Barbara was hurt and bewildered. She couldn't understand why Jane had suddenly changed so. And then, through an open window, Barbara overheard something that explained everything.
But after all, Jane, just one time doesn't mean she's rude.
She is, Mother. She pushes people and yells at everyone and runs around like a ninny. I just don't like her, Mother.
All right, dear, I'm not insisting. It's just that she looks like a nice little girl. I suppose she just doesn't understand how important it is to have good manners in public.
There it is, Barbara. The reason that you've never been able to keep your friends. Maybe the truth hurts. But it's lucky you found out, Barbara. Why? Because for all your bad manners, you are an intelligent girl. Smart enough to do something about it. Where to start? Well, books are a source of information on good manners. First of all, you have to find out what are good manners. You should know why they are important. Good manners show our consideration for the feelings of other people. We develop good manners by following certain rules. As we use them, they become a part of us, a part of our personality. Let's look at some of the rules of good manners that you need to use to get along with others. Good manners on the street are very important. The sidewalks are for your convenience and for other people too. Make it a rule to share the sidewalk. Being quiet on streets is another way to behave properly, especially if you know that sick people might be disturbed. Where small babies are taking their naps, or men in the neighborhood who work at night and sleep during the day. Throwing paper or anything else in the street is bad manners. All of us should do our best to keep the city clean. Yes, Barbara, knowing the rules of good manners is important. Let's make a list of good manners in public. In public places of entertainment, your good manners help others to enjoy themselves. At a movie, for example, try not to disturb others when you enter. Sit quietly and don't whisper or talk back to the picture, even if you think of something funny. Above all, remember the other people who want to have a good time too. Yes, Barbara, you'll find good manners apply everywhere. At the soda fountain, be sure to wait your turn. In a store, Don't touch merchandise unless you're thinking of buying it. After all, it could get broken or soiled. The grocery store is a good place to be courteous. It never hurts to think of the other person. Another place to be polite, elevators. Elevators require especially good manners. Let others off before you get on, and then, of course, ladies first. Give the operator the number of your floor and move to the back so others can get on. Stand quietly in the elevator and be ready to move aside to let other passengers out when reach their floor. There, that does it. At least, that's a start. Just a few of the good manners that you need to get along with other people. Let's see now, Barbara. Share the sidewalk. Be quiet and orderly. Don't litter the streets. Fine. Those are good rules of behavior. Bus manners. Don't crowd ahead of others. Talk quietly. Stay in your seat. Good. And at the theater, don't run. Don't push past people. And don't talk or whisper. How about stores and shops? I see. Wait your turn. Don't handle merchandise. Think of others. In public elevators, let people off before you get on. Ladies first. Give your floor promptly. Make room for others. Don't chatter or squirm. Step aside to let others out. Very good indeed, Barbara. You're off to a good start, and if you try, you're on your way to a happier life. You can find other ways to add to your list of good manners by asking questions when you're not sure. Your parents will tell you. You learn by watching the good manners of others. Your teacher will help you too. And your friends. Yes, Barbara, if you correct your past mistakes, you will find that good manners do open the door to friendship. People will help you in every way they can when they know you want to have good manners. People will like you and respect you for your good manners. What's more, you'll like yourself and the way you act a little better day after day.
Hi. We show that every Tuesday in the Teen Zone, and it's not working. It's not working yet. I don't know. What are you going to do? Hi. Welcome to Stars of Centron, Volume 2. I'm Brad Allen. I'm the Executive Director of Lawrence Public Library. We are so happy to be here with our friends from Watkins Museum to celebrate the 70th anniversary of Centron Corporation. Founded in Lawrence and operating from 1947 to 1994, Centron was a small yet mighty company. It was one of the premier industrial and educational filmmakers in the U.S. Centron films, as you've just seen, are time capsules of American pop culture and social issues, as well as local landmarks that are now gone. Yet many of their messages still resonate, like the film we just saw. Though many well-known Hollywood actors and actresses were featured in Centron movies, more than 3,000 Lawrence residents appeared in them. Look around, you may be sitting next to a Centron star tonight, especially if you're down here in the reserved area. The library hosted a Centron program in 2015 with our favorite Centron hero, Buck Newsome. Sadly, Buck is no longer with us, but we know he would have loved tonight's event that brings together Centron films with their Lawrence stars. So now, to take us down Centron Memory Lane is our guest host, KLWN radio guy, Lawrence luminary, and Centron star, Hank Booth.
Well, you put a microphone in my hand and you know what's liable to happen. I might get the wrong microphone. Arden Booth was the guy that I learned how to speak correctly and properly. And I wish I could see everybody's faces out there, but I can't see anyone from this stage with those bright lights. I hope I can read my notes, you guys. You did a great job putting this program together tonight, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. You know, it was a pleasure to watch that for a lot of reasons. We all had a lot of giggles and smiles and laughs about that movie. I remember the first one that I was in was actually a film strip. I was the little boy who got on the bus all by himself. That brought back memories of them climbing on that bus. I went back and settled into my seat on that terrible old bus, that old yellow thing that went up and down the streets of Lawrence, and they shot the pictures of me. This was a slideshow, not a movie. There's nobody here under the age of 60 that even knows what a slideshow was. And the movie focused on the fact that I fell asleep while sitting, and how you could fall asleep on a Lawrence bus is beyond me, but I fell asleep. And the bus driver realized I'd gone past my stop where I had to get off. I was lost. They showed me with tears in my eyes, and the nice bus driver coming back and helping find my way back home and delivering me to the front door of my house here in Lawrence. How many people here tonight think that would ever happen again in today's world? Probably not. But again, it was one of the great themes of the early work in the early 1950s of Centron. Of course, many of the things that we do watch and will watch here tonight have a story. How many people here, for example, can we get the lights? I think that we need to be able to see each other a little bit for this. Can we get some house lights? How many people here tonight were ever in a Centron movie? They mentioned 3,000. I hope we can get some house lights. 3,000 people. How many had family members, at least, who were in movies? I ran into Betty Laird here in the crowd tonight. Betty has been taking some notes and keeping track. She had a list of at least 12 different movies that she'd been in. Betty, starting in 1958 and going through 1993, is that correct? Till nearly the very end, and from 1958 on through. Anybody here been in more than 12? So you may hold the record here tonight, Betty. If there's someone, then we'll look forward to hearing from you later on, and you can tell your story. The bottom line is we have a great lineup of Centron films for you this evening, but we also have some Centron celebrities that we'd like to introduce you to here tonight. They work at Centron both in front of the camera and, more importantly, perhaps behind the camera. And so add more fun to our evening. Our friends at Watkins Museum have cooked up some Centron information about this memorable chapter in Lawrence history. So let's take a look at this first fun fact, all right?
this afternoon?
It's the first game. Everyone's going to be there. You're coming, aren't you, George?
No, I'm not coming. We'll lose the game anyway. We always lose.
Well, what's eating him?
Oh, you know George. He's the biggest gripe I know.
Our next film will be I Like Bikes, But, and it was produced in 1978 by Centron for the General Motors Corporation. We'll check it out for you here for just in a moment or two. But here with us tonight is one of the animators of I Like Bikes, But, Lauren Dolezal. Please help me welcome Lauren up here to the stage tonight, if you would, please. Welcome, Lauren. Sit right down there. Grab that microphone. I think I left that one in front with the green light going, so we should be all right. I was asking Lauren when we first met tonight, when did he start with Centron? And you had to stop and think for a moment, but give me that career path through Centron while you were there.
Yeah, let's see. I think I started in about 1977 and stayed there till the very end.
And of course, by then, had they moved out to the location out on 9th Street in 1977?
Yes.
They had.
The new addition had also been added, and the art department was still in a rock house that was east of the building, and shortly after that new addition was finished, then the art department moved into the main building.
And that main building there on 9th Street that many of us do remember was preceded by the Centron Studios. How many people here tonight, and I wish I could see everybody, remember where that was located? How many of you do remember where Centron originated in downtown Lawrence?
There's a few
Across from the courthouse on Massachusetts Street. They're in the right across the street from the courthouse behind Mosser Wolf Camera Shop. That's exactly right. They were in the back of Mosser Wolf Camera Shop, and Russ Mosser and Art Wolf were the two guys that ran the shop out front and did movies back in the back. It was quite a deal. Lauren, you also worked on the Reading Rainbow episodes. How did Centron get involved with that Reading Rainbows program? Because that was a long series.
We had people that went on the road to solicit business, and we had connections with Lancet Media. I think Sam Haskins was involved in contacting those people, brought them out to Centron. They looked us over, and we got started with a simple Reading Rainbow show on, I think it was the Red Canoe. And I shot that, and that proved to be satisfactory for them, and so we continued on, and I shot about 120 feature books for those episodes.
You mentioned the fact that now you were the inside guy, because a lot of guys went outside, and women, but a lot of them did their work outside of the studios, but you were inside guy because as an animator, and describe that work. What was your job, and how did that fit together?
I worked with Doug Poulter, who came from the Canadian Film Board. He was animator there. They had 7 Oxbury animation cameras. We just had the one, but a fantastic camera. Anyway, I understudied with Doug Poulter, and we went through several productions, and I just picked up the animation photography and kept on doing it for over 20-some years.
And during that time, how much of the film that Centron did actually had animation? What percentage of the film was I guess it might be easier to say how much was not without animation. Was it 50-50? Was it how much had animation and how much didn't?
Well, that's a toughie. I did all the titles, Doug Poulter and myself, for every film. So
well, they all did then. At one time or another, animation was part of all of them. But the animation that you spoke of, was that about half of them, do you think, or?
Pretty close.
Yeah, I thought that was probably the case. What about your favorite projects? How many did you do you think? That's an unfair question. Hundreds, perhaps 1,000.
Yeah,
but
we did
do you have a favorite you remember?
Oh gosh, that's pretty tough. One of the fun things was when we did The Fugue, we hired a quartet that played the fugue, and we recorded it. Then I transferred all of those notes to Mag Film and then timed the notes. The art department designed notes to coincide with that, and I animated the notes by lighting the notes up as the song was being played. And that was kind of a challenge, but it was cool.
Well, as we watch this next movie, you can get an idea, and we were talking about IT and what that means to the film industry today versus what you did in animation back in the 1970s and 1980s and into the 1990s. It was a much different world.
Not much, yes. Because you could be working all day on maybe 60 or 70 frames of film, and if you made a mistake, you start over.
There were so many things that we could talk about here tonight. I'd love to be able to continue, but we do have a schedule to keep. There will be a movie following our show here tonight, but we would like to present you with a gift that kind of helps represent the movie that we're going to watch here next, and that has to do with the bicycles. I like bikes, and this is a bicycle safety book, and that came from the library's a store of books there. And there's also a nice gift card for downtown Lawrence businesses, and we hope you enjoy both of them.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very
Fantastic.
much. Lauren
Thank you so much.
Dolezal. And now let's get on with the show. I hope we've been able to re-cue that bicycle movie.
My name is Ike. I'm a bike. As drivers, you're going to see a lot of me. Bikes and cars are a great part of our style of life. We like freedom and mobility, but we have to get along together. I like bikes. Ooh, some bump. Gliding fancy-free. I like bikes. They're number one with me. I like bikes. I'm just a biking nut. I like bikes. But
I like bikes.
And then, when Lisa was 5,
I like bikes.
Lisa's 10 now. And?
I like bikes.
At 15, she likes bikes, but she loves cars. When she gets her license, will she change her likes? Will she still like bikes? We'll see. When she gets her license, when it gets here, if she ever gets her license, will she still like bikes? Well, tonight will be the test. It's time to solo. I like bikes, but they're so hard to see. Oh yeah, they're so hard to see. Look at me. I blend with fogs. I hide behind dogs. And when the thunder crashes, I'm out there making splashes. I lurk in drives. And when the sun gets in your eyes, surprise! Oh yes, I'm hard to see. So please, watch out for me. Hey, she likes me! Hard to see. Watch out. Now she's someone who really can say, I like bikes. Hard to see. Watch out. So, keep your eye on that reflection, because you can't tell which direction I'm gonna be hard to see. A bike is easily upset. You bet. I like bikes, but little things upset them. It isn't only when I'm wet that I'm easily upset. And just let me try to travel on gravel, or tangle my chain, or run across a roadway drain, or fallen leaves. Sheesh, what a pain. Little things upset us. We bikes. Why can't we? Why don't we? Why can't we pay attention? Why can't we seem to notice a sign beside the road is meant for us? The signs all point the way to accident prevention. Why, oh why can't we pay attention? Until the day we do, I'm afraid it's up to you. Hey, good girl. Again, I ought to mention that you should pay attention, because sometimes we don't. Thanks again, miss, for showing us that you like bikes. I like bikes. Gliding fancy-free. I like bikes. They're number one with me. I like their style. They make me smile. They suit me to a T. But safety-wise, please realize you never should trust me. I like bikes, but I like bikes, but I like bikes, but. So to make the going safer for each big and little shaver, for all the golden oldies and the tykes, though the biker may be wrong, if you like us, you belong. So say what we've been saying all along. I like bikes. And then act like it, please.
Well, now it's time for another Watkins Museum Centron fun fact. And then the next film will come up, also produced in 1977, called Halloween Safety. It was one of Centron's many educational films. Casting scouts visited local grade schools and took the kids right out of, with the best Halloween costumes, right out of the class for the movie. Now let's see if you can spot any of your friends or neighbors in Halloween Safety.
Good luck, Mary. Stop by and see us the next time you're in.
Thank you, but I'm never coming back.
I don't know about that girl.
How do you mean?
Day before yesterday, she was the only one of 3 girls to survive an accident. You'd think she'd feel a little something. Maybe in her place, I'd do the same thing. Just pick up life again. But I still say she's behaving strangely.
I have no desire for the close company of other people.
My dear, you cannot live in isolation from the human race, you know.
Who's the man in the hall?
Maybe you heard the boards pop or something.
I didn't hear him, Mrs. Thomas. I saw him.
There's nobody there.
He's been following me, that's all there is to it.
That old pavilion out by the lake. Somehow you associate it with all this, don't you?
There was someone else there. That strange man was there.
Hysteria won't solve anything. Now control yourself.
You think I imagined all of it, don't you? You think I'm insane?
I didn't say that. I don't mean that.
That's just what I need. Get mixed up with some girls off a rocker.
I don't want to be left alone.
Well, if she's got a problem, it'll go right along with her.
There's one magical, haunted evening each year when all the scary creatures come out to prowl through every neighborhood. But here's the scariest monster of all. Do you know why? This little witch doesn't know it, but she's taking some frightening chances of being hurt. Maybe badly hurt. Her costume is very, very dangerous. Can you see the things that make it dangerous? What about that mask? She can hardly see through those tiny holes for her eyes. If you were wearing that mask, here's what it would be like. You can see straight in front of you, but unless you happen to turn your head, you wouldn't see that car coming as you start to cross the street. You could be run over. And unless you look down, you can't see that you're coming to a curb. Ow, that hurts. It's bad enough to take a tumble on hard pavement, but it would be even worse to sprawl out on the street in front of a car coming. Now let's imagine that we're in that car. Can you see her clearly? Why not? What is there about her costume that makes it hard to see her? As the driver of a car or truck, you might not see her until it's too late. And that's really scary. Before we think about some ways that the little witch could see and be seen better, let's take another look at her costume. Whoops, down she goes again. It seems as if she's collecting more bumps and bruises than candy tonight. Let's see if we can help her, shall we? And by helping her, maybe you can learn some things that will help you stay safe at Halloween. First, we need to turn back the clock and start this whole evening over again. One of the problems with this costume is that it's too long. It's too easy to trip over a long, full skirt. So we can shorten the skirt. You should always shorten any skirt, pants, slacks, or cape that is too long or floppy. Now, the broom. That's a clumsy thing to carry, and it's something that you're likely to trip over in the dark. It's usually easy to shorten brooms or round off the sharp points of pirate swords and other costume parts that can trip you or scratch you. Cardboard brooms and swords are usually safer than wooden ones, but it's safest not to carry anything like that in the first place. Now, what else might we change on this costume to make it safer? What about that color? Remember how hard it was to see the little witch because of her dark costume on a dark night? We should always wear light, bright colors on the street at night so drivers can see us. What about this color? A white costume makes an unusual, different kind of witch who's more likely to be safe on Halloween night. A good way to make any costume easier to see at night is to decorate it with reflective tape or reflective patches. Some costumes come with reflective material already attached to the cloth. Here's what it looks like to a car driver. It's easy to see, even on the darkest night. And while you're putting reflective tape on the costume, you should also add some of it to the bag or container you'll use to carry home your candy. Some special Halloween sacks are treated with reflective material when they're made. And it's a good idea to write your name, address, and phone number on the sack, just in case there is an accident. Now, how about the mask? Any problem with it? Do you remember how hard it was to see out through those little eye holes? To be safe at night, you have to be able to see clearly, as well as be seen. We can improve the mask by cutting larger holes to look out of. There, that's better, but there is an even safer way. You can simply not wear a mask. Oh, you think you need a mask to disguise yourself? Well, just watch what you can do, with a little help from your parents and some scraps of cloth or old clothes from around home. An eyebrow pencil, different colors of eyeshadow, rouge, lipstick, an old mop or wig, some wax teeth, maybe some clay and food coloring, and a few other odds and ends. You'd be surprised what you can turn yourself into. Whether you buy a costume or design your own, be sure that it's made of flame-retardant material. That means material that won't catch on fire easily. Now our little witch has turned into a beautiful princess, and her new costume is much safer. But there are a few other things you should do before going out. First, eat a big dinner. If you go trick-or-treating while you're hungry, you'll be tempted to sample some of your treats while you're out, and that's definitely not a good idea. Keep an eye on the clock. In many places, the police set the hours that you should trick-or-treat. Trick-or-treat only within those times. Neighbors should be ready with treats for you, and drivers should be more careful to watch for you during those hours. Make sure you carry a flashlight when you go. The light will not only help you see where you're going in the dark, but it will also make it easier for others, including drivers, to see you. Always travel with a group, not alone. It's safer still to have a parent along to keep an eye on things. And of course, you should always walk. Riding a bicycle at night is always dangerous, but it's even more dangerous to try to ride in a costume at night. As you go from house to house, stay on the sidewalks as much as possible. If you have to walk in an area where there are no sidewalks, walk as far off the roadway as possible and face the traffic. That way you can see what's coming and get out of the way if you have to. Cross streets only at brightly lighted corners, not in the middle of the block, and never between two parked cars. When you start across the street, cross quickly, but don't run, and don't stop in the middle of the street for any reason. Stay in your own neighborhood when you're trick-or-treating. Your neighbors are probably hoping to see you in costume on Halloween. And it's safest to visit people you know. If you don't know the people very well, don't go into their homes. Most people enjoy having trick-or-treaters come to their doors. But there are a few people who will do things to hurt kids. They might put sharp or hard objects and candy in apples. Or they might put something on fruit or gum that could make you sick if you eat it. To be completely safe, save your treats until you get home. Then ask your parents to help you check them carefully to make sure that there's nothing in them or on them that could hurt you. The safest treats are usually candy or gum that come in their own wrappers from the factory. Fruit should be washed before you eat it. And all candy bars and fruit should be sliced so you can be certain that there is nothing hard or sharp inside that could hurt you. If you're not sure whether something is safe or not, don't take any chances. Throw it away. But let's get back to the fun part of Halloween with the princess and her friends. Almost everyone enjoys a good joke or riddle.
What's your trick?
What you guys eat for breakfast?
What?
Those toasties.
What's a wiener when you take out its insides?
What?
A Halloweener.
Where does Dracula keep his money?
Where?
In a blood bank.
Here, have some candy.
However, some practical jokes and pranks aren't so funny. If you should break something, it wouldn't be very funny to the owners or to your parents, who might have to pay for it. So keep your jokes funny and harmless. Tonight has been a magical night. We saw a scary monster changed into a beautiful, happy, and safe little princess. How about you? Will you follow the lead of the little princess and have a safe and super Halloween this year?
Well, we had some stars in that movie who are here with us tonight, and I have 3 of them here in the audience. Ladies, would you please come on up? We do need lights again. There we go. Thank you very much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're glad to see that Emily Hill could join her sister, Sarah Hill Nelson, and of course, Mom, safe Mom always, Marcia Hill. What do you guys, do you have your mics there? Are they both turned on? There should be another one back there. Push the little button right there. Now we're ready. Has your working?
Hello.
Got it.
There we go.
What do you remember as Mom about sending the kids out trick-or-treating?
Well, I certainly wouldn't have sent them unaccompanied.
Exactly.
That poor little witch that went out on her own.
Hold that right up close.
Okay.
I'm curious, too, when you did the movie, do you remember how you tried out, Emily, Sarah Hill? Yes?
Actually, it was stacked.
I think the bar was
stacked?
set pretty low.
What happened? How did you get in the movie? Connections, I see. Now, my script said that they came around and looked over kids in costumes at school and all sorts of things like that. Not true?
I don't
Sarah?
think so.
I don't remember. Chuck Warner worked for Centron, as did James Pierce. And so Jane Pierce, and that was Sarah Pierce and Ann, so then we were roped into the thing, and that was in that part where we were going through the apples and stuff.
Right.
That was in our kitchen.
Wait,
So-
I was going to say, it looked like your family home there, and then do you remember shooting this movie? How old were you when you filmed it?
God, I think, was I 7 and you were 9?
I think I was 8.
Okay.
It was
then I was.
1977.
So I was, so I would have been 7. But then, 7, then I was 6. But
All right.
they
So, do you remember it? Do you remember them coming to your home with the cameras and all the rest? And did they give you instructions on what to do, or were you just kind of on your own to act like kids?
No, I totally remember it. I remember it really clearly. Like, I remember sort of the filming and Mom cutting things up and talking about the apples. I remember doing it over and over again. I remember very vividly the scene where we saw the bike, the kid almost get hit. Like, we were a part of that one too. We got to do several of these things. And the car screeching to the halt in the bike one before the Halloween one.
Right.
It says, yeah.
And I do remember a lot of the other kids that were in it. So
Good.
Stacy Warner, Andy.
Any of the
Pierce
others
was
here
in it.
tonight? Any other kids that were in that here this evening? Speak up if you
that?
are. Go ahead and speak right up. Say hi. Yes, I was in it.
Oh, who is that? Wait. Awesome.
There we go.
So you are really chosen.
There we go.
You actually did try out. That's awesome.
Do you remember how much money you were paid for your movie?
I think it was for the glory. No, I said I think it was for the glory.
Yeah, I think the money actually went to the parents. If I remember, on one of mine, Dad got the money, and he didn't give me a nickel of it.
Did you make money?
I don't think I got a dime.
You didn't get any money? Wait a minute. Anybody here from Centron that still has...
I remember exactly the date of the thing because I remember that T-shirt I was wearing. And it was 1976.
1976. And again, one thing that you do remember, were you in any other movies? Any others for you, Sarah?
We were in the one with the safety thing, and then there was another one where there was an ice cream truck that came, and we had to go get the ice cream, and we had to keep filming it, so they had to keep feeding us ice cream. That was pretty much the highlight.
The ice cream cone kept coming, and it never did quite get it right then.
We'd have to do
How
it
about
over
you?
again.
Were you in any others, Emily?
I was in the same. I was in the
Same
same
one.
film, but I
Same.
don't remember. I don't remember what it was about.
But you didn't remember getting any money either then.
No.
Over 3,000 Lawrencians were in the Centron films, and now we know why, folks. Now we have a very good idea why. But it was great. What do you remember as mom about the folks that were at Centron? I just remember all of them as much older adults because I'd grown up by the time I got to know them again in the 80s and 90s.
Well, I remember James Pierce well, and Chuck Warner, of course.
Warner.
Herc
Herc Harvey.
Yes, and Art Wolf and Russ Mosser. I remember all of them.
I remember Russ Mosser because his daughter, Pat Mosser, kissed me when we were in the first grade at Pinckney School. So Mr. Mosser and I never did see eye to eye about many things. So.
You know, about 5 years ago, Stephen, for his movie, we got a note from somebody, and they wanted to use that movie in something they were doing. I mean, some sort of, retrospective on educational films or something. And so he had to sign off, and I extracted $100 for the charity of my choice. I made them make a charitable contribution.
It would be great fun. We could talk for a long time, but we do have more to show tonight. We do have another movie piece, and we have the star of that show here as well to talk to a little bit later on. But we do want to move on into this next bit of the movie trivia that we'll have from Centron trivia here tonight. And then we're going to see The Outsider. And one of the stars will join us here on stage afterwards. Thank you very much, ladies. Let's give them a big hand.
And the new president of our senior class is Ray Medford. You can rest assured I'll do my best to be a good president of the finest class Lincoln High has ever had. Congratulations, Ray. Thanks a lot, Dick. I'm sorry you both couldn't have been elected. Oh, that's all right. If you need any help on special committees or anything, just give me a call. Sure will, Dick. There goes what I call a good loser.
twisted frame, an indomitable human heart. His ancient tractor is a familiar sight on the streets of the community near his home. Leo redesigned the tractor and, with the help of a nephew, rigged it with a special hoist. Each day, he drives it into town and parks it in the place which, by common consent of the townspeople, has become his place.
Make a party out of it.
Okay, let's have it Friday night.
Is that okay with everybody?
Sure. But what we gonna eat?
Junior, all you think of is eating.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. No fooling. What are we gonna have to eat?
Well, I'll bring some Cokes. Why don't you bring the sandwiches? Okay. I'll get Mother to make some potato salad. You might as well have the party over at my house.
Swell.
Fun.
Okay, you girls bring the eats and we'll bring the records.
That'll be swell. Okay.
Well, I gotta go to class now. So long.
Bye.
Susan Jane, what's the matter with you? Why is everyone else having such a good time when you're not? Why do they always leave you out? Do you look different? Is it some way you act? What makes you the outsider? The outsider, the one nobody asks.
Golly, this assignment will take us all night. Why don't you come over at my house and we'll work it out together?
Swell, I'll see you about 7.
Okay.
Susan Jane, you make good grades. You could really help them. Why don't they ask you? Even in things you're good at, why do they make you the outsider?
Well, look, if it hadn't been for what they did in the 9th inning, we'd be okay.
Yeah, but did you see Joe out in center field?
Hi, Marcy. Hi, Dan.
Oh, hello, Susan.
Hi, Susan Jane. What do you know?
Nothing much.
And did you
Okay if I sit down?
Sure, go ahead, sit down. Let me tell you what this guy said. It's a scream. He said every one of our team was left-footed. He said, look at this southpaw. What you folks gonna have this afternoon?
Hi, Jimmy.
I want a root beer. A chocolate ice cream cone, please.
That's what I want, too, a chocolate ice cream cone.
Oh, I believe I've changed my mind. I want a chocolate ice cream cone, too.
Why do the other kids do everything differently? They choose different things. They stick together on everything. Why are you always the one who's out of step? Is there something the matter with you?
Yeah, I know. The wrestling's supposed to be on.
Oh, is it? Good.
Here you are.
Oh, thank you.
Well, what in the world's the matter with her?
I don't know.
Suppose we said something?
We didn't say anything to her. Maybe that's the matter.
She's a funny girl. I don't think she likes us. Say, what's the matter with us?
Maybe more than you think. We might have tried to say something to her.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, how's Latin test?
Hi. Too bad the second page is terrible.
I'm afraid I flunked mine.
Let him through, will you? Oh, I think I...
Hi.
Hi, Junior. Figured out what you're gonna eat at the party tonight?
Sure. Make mine a super duper special, will you, Jimmy? Just plenty of everything. That's all I want. Say, what's the matter, Marcy?
Oh, nothing. I just don't understand that Susan Jane Smith. We were sitting here eating our ice cream cones, and all of a sudden she just jumps up and leaves.
Who's Susan Jane Smith?
Oh, you know, that quiet girl in our homeroom. The one who sits in front of Freddie.
Oh,
that one. Mousy.
I think she's stuck up. She won't even speak to me, and I sit right behind her.
I don't think she's stuck up. I think she's probably just scared of you.
Scared of him?
Scared of me? What for? I don't know anybody that's scared of me.
Well, just the same, I'll bet that's the trouble. I'll bet she'd be a lot of fun.
Oh, forget her. Let's all go over to Lewis's and look at television.
Yeah, let's.
Say, how about my super duper special? Hey, fellas, wait for me.
heard you come. Why, Susan, what's the matter? Nothing. Just leave me alone, Mother. Susan Jane, something is the matter, and I want to know what it is. Now tell me.
It's no use, Mother. It's something you can't help. I must be different. I just don't fit in.
Why, of course you're different, dear. Everybody is.
No, everybody's not different. Oh, maybe they look different or dress different, but most people, the kids at school, seem to belong. They plan parties together and do homework together. And they all choose chocolate ice cream cones.
Chocolate ice cream cones? Why, Susan, that doesn't make sense. Have they left you out of something? If that's it, we can have some of your friends over Friday.
Oh, Mother, you don't understand. Can't you see? Nobody'd come to my party. They're having a party of their own, and I'm not in on it. I don't want you to give me a party. I want to go to theirs. I want to have fun with them. I want... Oh, what's the use? Nobody can help me. Not even you.
Nobody can help you, Susan Jane? Maybe you can. Sometimes it's hard to figure out why things happen the way they do, but sometimes there's a very simple answer. You were just standing there in the hall the next day, all alone, weren't you? The way you always are. And you heard the girls talking. You thought they were talking about you.
Oh, no, we can't ask her. She's a creep.
Susan Jane, who's a creep? Who are they talking about?
You said it. She'd willed everything. Can't you just see her not opening her mouth all evening, sitting there like a pole? Why can't she relax? And the clothes she wears. It'd be different if she just put herself out a little, but oh no, she's too wrapped up in herself for that.
Susan Jane, wait a minute. They're not talking about you. But you didn't wait to hear that, did you?
We just can't ask Miss Simpkins to be the chaperone at our party. We've got to get someone else. All right, we'll ask Miss Hatfield. Sure, she'd be fun. Say, Lois, why don't we ask Susan Jane Smith to come, too? Why? Oh, I don't know. It's just that something happened down at the drugstore. I think I told you about it. Maybe she feels the way I did once. Maybe we ought to be a little nicer to her. Suit yourself. The party's at your house.
Hello? Yes, this is Susan Jane. Marcy? Marcy Clark?
Yes. Say, Susan, we're talking about having a party over here at my house Friday night. Not a real big one, just a bunch of us. Everybody's bringing something to eat. Why don't you come over? You could bring a cake. Nobody's bringing that yet.
But I thought you... Oh, no, I just couldn't.
Hello, Susan Jane? Hello? Hello? Susan Jane? Susan Jane, what is it?
I can't go. I just can't do it. They called me a creep. They said I'd willed everything. They said all kinds of mean things about me. And now they're inviting me to their party just so they can make fun of me.
Mrs. Smith, I'm Marcy Clark. Oh, yes. I must have said something to Susan Jane. I don't know what it is, but I'm worried. Marcy, Susan Jane has the idea that you kids were talking about her. She thinks that you invited her to your party just because you felt sorry for her. Oh, no. May I see her? Yes, of course.
Talking, and I thought you were talking about me.
But we weren't. We don't even think that about you. Susan Jane, I want to be your friend. Will you come to our party?
Yes, I will. Gee, you must think I'm pretty silly.
No, because I felt the same way lots of times.
You?
Well, I have. I'll see you Friday. And don't forget to bring the cake.
Gee, to think I could be so wrong about Marcy and Lois. And if I was wrong about them, I might be wrong about a lot of other things, too. Sure, I'm different from Marcy and the rest of the kids, but then they're different from each other, too. They make friends easily, Guess I'll have to work hard at it. And I'm going to start working on it right now. Mother, they've invited me, and I'm going. And this time I'm going to try to make them like me. I'm going to fix up. I'm going to join in and not hang back. I'm going to be friendly. I'm going to like them, and oh, Mother, do you think that'll make them like me?
Well, it's certainly a start, Susan Jane. Yes, I think this may be your chance.
Well, is everything set for the big feed?
If you mean the party, it's all set.
Just like we planned.
With one addition, Marcy's invited Susan Jane Smith.
Susan Jane Smith? Why her?
Well, why not?
I don't know. I just never thought of her fitting in with us.
Neither did I, but gee, we'll all be there, and if everybody's there, we ought to have a good time. Let's give her a try.
She may not be so bad. We don't even know her. We'll find out.
Bye.
Well, Susan Jane, this is your big moment. The moment you've been waiting for. This is your chance to show the gang what you really are. You've fixed your hair and have on a pretty dress. You've even found a book on what to do to make people like you. And you've made up your mind not to act like an outsider. But is this enough? Will it work? Will you do the right things? Will you say the right things? Will the gang accept you, Susan Jane? Will they do the right things?
Susan Jane,
Yes, Mother?
it's about time for you to go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to bring to the stage with me at this time the star of that last show we just saw, Ruth Roney Hughes. I don't believe you were nominated for an Academy Award that year.
I don't.
Push that. It should talk fine. Just talk right straight into the end. Right there. You're ready.
This way?
There you go. Right in the end of it. There you go.
Yeah, I don't think I was nominated for anything.
Your part was the friend that went over to her house and talked to her, right?
Right.
What was the name of the character?
Marcy Clark?
Marcia
I
Clark.
think was my name.
There you go. Was this the only movie you were in for Centron?
You know, I think it was in one other one, but I can't remember the name of it. And I don't remember getting paid. Did we?
Well, Stephen Hill was also in that movie, as I understand it. Is that correct?
And Carol Sandelius was the first girl with me, and then of course Vera Stowe. And
Vera Stowe?
Vera Stowe.
She was the little girl that was
she
left
was
out.
the outsider.
The left out one. Okay, yeah.
And she went on to be a star, I believe, in the movies, wasn't she? Does anyone know for sure?
Oh, well, there you go. Grace Rubin? Brady Rubin. Okay. I'm going to get this right. I can't hear up here on the stage. I can't hear right in front of you either, but that's because of being in the radio business with earphones for too long. So say the name real loud. Brady Rubin. Okay. Everybody else hear that? Thank you very much. Ruth, I'll tell you what, when you were picked for the movie, did they come to the high school and did you try out there? Did you go to the Centron location over here on Massachusetts? What'd you do?
This was definitely on Massachusetts Street in the back of Mosser Wolf Camera Shop. And I do not remember, that's been a while ago. I really don't remember whether we were selected. I know I got a phone call and I went in, and that part I remember, and it was fun.
Were you in any time at that time when you did this one? Were you on stage doing anything at theater department at Lawrence High when you were in this?
No. We were in the back room of Moser and Wolf.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying besides that, did you do theater at Lawrence High?
Oh, did I do theater?
Any plays or anything?
I can remember in junior high when Gladys Six was the director then. We did Caddy Woodlawn. And I got to be Caddy, and that was really kind of special because the author of Caddy Woodlawn came to the production, and that was fun. And then I think it was in a couple of things at high school, but it wasn't a
Well, I remember that the author of our play came too. I was in Tom Sawyer, and Mark Twain came to that. It was really very good. No, we did have a lot of fun with Gladys Six as our director for all those different years. I bet you there are dozens out here that were part of the genre of people that went to Central that first, and then Lawrence Liberty Memorial. Well, the junior high school, that was it. When it was down at 11th in Massachusetts, had it moved yet when you were in junior high?
We went to junior high at 9th in Kentucky.
9th in Kentucky, right. Well, again, that gives you an idea of the length of time that this wonderful corporation, Centron Corporation, was in Lawrence. Anything else you'd like to share that you were thinking about? I want to tell everybody this for sure.
No, I don't think so, except that it's been interesting to watch the mores or the difference in how we deal with any kind of situation today, especially with the bikes,
my goodness, yes.
A little repeat on that, and the Halloween and those things, just interesting.
I think bicycles always have the right of way now. There's no question about it, no question whatsoever. Well, thank you so much, Ruth. We appreciate it very, very much. We do have one more piece of film and one more star to go. We do have a piece of film. First, a Watkins Museum Centron fun fact, and then we're going to see our last film of the evening, What About Juvenile Delinquency? And wait till you see who one of the real hoods is in this particular show. We're going to have that character and actor up here on the stage with us after we see it. Let's take a look. What About Juvenile Delinquency from 1955?
And now the University of Kansas looks to the future. Athletic Director Dutch Lonberg, KU Chancellor Dr. Franklin Murphy, and Coach Allen inspect the new $2.5 million field house now being erected on the KU campus. Within these walls, many a future battle will be fought and won. This roof will resound with the cheers of thousands, inspiring future teams to uphold the tradition of championship basketball at Kansas.
Tell you when we pick up Jamie. What's that guy waiting for? Give him a bump. Yeah. Hit him again.
Oh, cut it out. We're getting a jam.
What's the matter? You chicken or something? Come on, move it!
What do you punks think you're doing anyway?
What was that you called us?
Well, I just bought that car. Now look.
Don't you have any homework, Jamie?
I told you no. Going out as soon as the guys come by to get me.
What time? It's already after 8. I don't know why you can't stay home for one evening. Your father'll be home in a little bit. Should be home now. Just where is it you're going, Jamie?
If I knew, I'd tell you. I don't know.
Boys, I'll write your orders with my new pencil.
Hey, those are great. My dad's got one just like it. Where'd you get it?
We just swarmed all over a guy. Fell out of his pocket.
What? When did this happen?
Just before we picked you up.
We bumped some guy in a big Buick and he gets out and starts getting smart.
Yeah, starts calling us names.
Boy, did we give it to him. We sure messed him up. You should have been there, Jamie. Who was he?
I don't know, some big bald-headed guy.
What kind of a car did you say it was?
Oh, it was what's the matter with you?
I asked you what kind of a car it was. I want to know.
It was a yellow Buick. Why? What do you want to know for, Jamie?
What's his trouble?
I don't know, but this isn't the place to find out. We'll see him in the morning at school when we give this to him.
Jamie,
How's Dad?
how did you know?
I heard it over the radio. How is he?
He'll be all right. He's resting now. He was terribly shaken up and bruised, though. Oh, it makes me sick to think about it.
Jamie.
I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry.
There's nothing for you to be sorry about, son. It wasn't your fault. I'm all right now. You'd better get upstairs to bed.
I'm sorry, Dad.
Better take this back, Jamie.
We didn't know it was your dad, Jamie.
We wouldn't have done it if we'd known.
Leave me alone.
Take it, Jamie.
You keep it. I don't want anything more to do with it.
Now look, Jamie, don't get smart. Don't forget, you could have been along instead of one of us. Could have been one of our dads. Wouldn't see me moping around if it had been my old man.
Don't worry. I'm not forgetting a thing. Just count me out from now on.
There he is.
Jamie, we want to talk to you.
He's busy.
Have you seen the paper this morning, Jamie?
Have you read about the special session of the city council they're having this morning?
And all the things they're talking about doing. A curfew, upping the age of driver's licenses, canceling the football games, the parties, the dances, and everything else.
And it isn't fair, Jamie. Most of the high school students haven't had anything to do with the things that have been happening. Like last night, and the statue that was broken, and the theater seats, and all that. But we're all going to suffer for it.
I didn't have anything to do with it either.
And don't look at us.
We didn't kick over any statues.
You've got to help us, Jamie.
Well, what do you expect me to do?
We're going over to the city council meeting right now and see if they won't listen to our side before they do anything about it. Mr. McPherson said we could go. He excused us from school.
And he said you could go with us.
Look, all of you, leave me out of everything you're planning. All I want to do is mind my own business.
But this is your business, Jamie.
You heard him. He's not going anywhere. He's no sap. We're going to the city council.
Go ahead and laugh. Right now, you guys are more afraid than we are, but you're not fooling us. You think you can laugh at anybody who stands up to you, and pretty soon everyone else is laughing at him, and you think you won. Well, I don't care if you laugh or not. It won't be funny if the city council does what they're talking about.
I wouldn't advise any of you to go to that meeting if I were you. I'm warning you.
Are you going with us, Jamie?
No, he's not.
I'm talking to Jamie.
What do you want me to do?
They'll listen to you, Jamie, because it was your dad that...
I'll go with you.
You're not going anywhere.
Talking about Franks and letting off steam. We're talking about criminal acts of violence. I say if these kids want to go around beating up people and wrecking things to prove how tough they are, then it's time we prove to them just how tough we are.
Mayor Honeywell, could we say something? I'm sorry.
What's all this?
Do you have some facts to give us that we don't already have?
I don't know whether you'd call them facts or not, but
Well, everybody keeps talking about teenagers as if we were a bunch of freaks or something.
We're just wasting time. We wasted too much time already. We've invited Mr. McPherson here. He's principal of the high school, and he can tell us anything these kids can tell us.
No, I'm sorry, I can't. That's why when these students came to me today, I asked them if they'd be willing to come down here and put their case before you. And I think you should hear what they have to say. This is Bill Stillwell, the head of the student council, and Chuck Leewood, captain of our football team, and Sally Lawrence here, the senior class president,
And Jamie's dad was the one who got hurt last night.
Mr. Mayor, I think Mr. McPherson's right. And I think these students are right, too. Teenagers aren't all delinquents. Only a few are involved in these criminal acts that we're all concerned about. If these teenagers, who represent all of the rest, have the courage to come here, then I think we should not only listen to them, but I think we should invite them to help us stamp out this vandalism. I say let's let them talk.
all right.
We don't want to punish all teenagers for the trouble a few are causing, but something has to be done. You know how serious the juvenile delinquency problem has become. We have to take some action to prevent this sort of thing from happening again. Now, if you have some suggestions to offer, we're willing to listen to you. What can we do? And what can you do to prevent juvenile delinquency? You tell us.
What would you do if you were Jamie? What can we do about juvenile delinquency? What would you say?
Or not, he even remembers his lines from the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Johnston, criminal of the 1950s. Sit down, Don. What was your infamous line?
Come on, move it.
He does still remember.
No. Come on, move it. No. Come on, move it.
Let's give him a hand, folks. Do you remember all the other guys? Do you have any connection, or any of them still with us?
Yes. Dick Sheeplebush was the gentleman who spoke at the commission meeting.
Yeah.
Of course, Dick is the Dr. Sheeplebush Child Development Center at KU,
Clinic,
and
right.
he's 99 years old right now, and he still comes every Sunday to Plymouth Church.
And he does, and he's also responsible for helping my little grandson with that clinic.
That's right.
Make wonderful strides in being able to use words. Fabulous program.
And then Art Wolf was the high school principal. Jamie was Tom Payne, who's deceased now, but he was a well-known lawyer in Olathe. My fraternity brother, Ed Freeberg, who was a major oil company executive. Ed was from Wichita, and he was the captain of the football team. Brett Waller was the student council president. Brett went on to be a professor of art history at the University of Michigan, and then was in arts administration with the Spencer Museum and with the Getty and with the Indianapolis Museum of Art.
Wow.
It's the Jerry Scott, the blonde-haired juvenile delinquent, was my fraternity brother, and is the one that got us all into this.
And what did he go on to do then? Was he involved with?
He was in event planning and recreation, hotel management on the West Coast, I think.
I knew the principal was Art Wolf, but the mayor, was that?
I can't remember who the mayor was.
That looked a little bit to me like George Docking. It did look like perhaps it was George Docking.
No.
Mr. Docking lived in Lawrence at
see
about
why,
that time.
I can see why you said that, but I don't think so. At that time, he was governor.
Anybody recognize him by any chance? Tom McGinnis.
Okay.
Thank you. That's great to be able to catch that. Any other memories of any of the people in that one who we haven't named yet? Speak right up with them. We'd love to know it. Did you get paid for that venomous role?
Ruthie and I were talking about that. Way back in the back of my mind, it seems to me that we got money, but I can't think it was very much. And I may be totally wrong. The scene was shot in the school. That was, I think, the second year of the existence of Lawrence High. And that's where it was shot.
I thought it opened in '54. This would have been the second year then, right?
Right.
Second year, number 2 year for Lawrence High School. And by the way, that is the same hallway that they had when I went to school there in 1964. And the same one that the kids are going down nowadays until they get things fixed up a little bit. So it's going to finally get a little facelift out there at Lawrence High School. A couple of other quick things. How did you ever get involved with this to begin with? Were you in thespian? Were you in the theater department?
Yes, I was in a production of Picnic. William Inge cast us all. And Vera Stowe was Madge's little sister in Picnic. But Jerry Scott was a buddy of Herc Harvey, who we all came to know well over the years after that. And he just came to the fraternity house one day and said, "Who wants to be in a movie?" And I raised my hand up.
We wish we could stay for a lot longer. We're going to be open for a lot longer here in the theater itself, but I do want to remember that, do you remember coming to this place for any shows back in the day?
I saw High Noon here.
Yeah.
When it was
I remember
Jayhawk movie theater.
The best entrance for somebody who was about 8 or 9 years old and didn't have any money was right back over there off the... Yeah. And there was one day when if you came to the movie and showed them a bug of some kind, you got in free. And we were all out down in the park trying to find some of those bugs. So this place has some history to it, too.
Yeah.
In the Red Dog days, do you remember any groups you saw here?
No, I was back in law school then, but I just know that the groups came through.
Yeah. Well,
One after
Ike and
another.
Tina Turner, of course, the local groups were here, but Ike and Tina Turner were on this stage, the Kingsmen with Louie, and a few other groups like that. But again, I like to celebrate all of the history that's around us, but thank you. We appreciate you being here, sir. And we have a very special book for you and a gift certificate from downtown Lawrence. This is called Grounded for Life. Stop blowing your fuse and start communicating with your teenager. Congratulations, sir.
I really appreciate that.
And I do have something special for Ruth Hughes as well, and that is a cookbook that's called Spork Fed. I'm not sure what it's all about, but this is your gift tonight, along with a gift certificate, and a very special gift as well for our Hill family group out there. And this one has to do with the book, The Best Halloween Ever. So we'll have these gifts for you along with your gift cards as well. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I would just like to say that all of us in that last movie have worried all our lives that we might have been typecast. But I'm happy to say that I grew up to be a banker foreclosing on widows and orphans.
Thank you, Dodd Johnston. And now, thanks to the Watkins and thanks to our friends here at Liberty Hall and thanks especially to the wonderful folks at the library. We're so fortunate to have that great library in our community and this great guy, Steve Novak at Watkins Museum.
That's
Thank you,
right.
Steve.
Thank you, Hank. Don't run away yet. because we have a thank you for you as well. On behalf of the Watkins Museum, I'm Steve Novak, the director, and on behalf of the Lawrence Public Library, we want to thank you for your service tonight with which I'm beginning to think is more pay than Centron film actors actually got. But we have a book for you in case you didn't get enough clues from our screening tonight. What is cinema should help you the next time you lead a discussion group like this. Thank you, we appreciate it. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. For this a fun evening, a chance to experience an interesting part of Lawrence's past, and hopefully a chance to learn a little something along the way. If you were watching really closely, you noticed places that we still find today, great exterior scenes from the Carnegie Building. The City Hall was played by the county courthouse, and maybe you noticed a quick glimpse of my favorite building, the Watkins Building, which actually was City Hall back when these films were being made. I want to thank Liberty Hall for allowing us the opportunity to host this event here. And if there was a Centron film about being a gracious host, or excuse me, a gracious guest, we need to be a bit mindful of the film schedule that is planned here, and we've promised to be out of the way by about 9 o'clock. So with just a couple of points, I want to first invite any of you who have participated in a Centron film to share your memories, and in the lobby there is an opportunity to do that. I want to let any of you know that if you have not gotten enough Centron film yet, the Watkins Museum is opening an exhibit about the anniversary of, or to celebrate the anniversary of Centron Films, and talks about the history of the company and shares more of these great clips. We'll open that on the final Friday in July. And then what is a birthday party without cake? There are cupcakes available, and we encourage you to treat yourself on the way out of the theater this evening. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the Watkins to explore more Centron films. Thanks so much.